Have you ever stood in the middle of New York City, looked up, and just felt small? Surrounded by these giants of concrete, steel, and glass, it's hard not to wonder how this incredible skyline came to be. It wasn't built in a day. The story of New York's architecture is a story of ambition, innovation, and constant reinvention. Today, we're going on a journey through time, from the charming brownstones that defined early neighborhoods to the super-tall glass towers that pierce the clouds today. This is the story of how New York City built itself over and over again. Let's rewind to the 19th century. Picture this: tree-lined streets, horse-drawn carriages, and rows of elegant uniform houses. This was the era of the brownstone. In neighborhoods like Brooklyn Heights and the Upper West Side, these iconic homes became the symbol of a rising middle class, made from a type of sandstone quarried in New Jersey and Connecticut. Their distinctive reddish-brown color gave entire blocks a warm, cohesive look. But why were they so popular? It was a combination of fashion, affordability, and fire resistance. After devastating fires in the 1830s and 40s, brick and stone became the materials of choice. The brownstone facade was a stylish veneer over a sturdy brick structure. Inside, you'd find high ceilings, ornate plasterwork, and a layout that reflected the social norms of the time, with a grand parlor for entertaining and separate quarters for servants. These buildings weren't just homes. They were statements about status and stability in a rapidly growing city. They created a sense of community and order, a human-scaled streetscape that you can still feel when you walk through these historic districts today. But as the 19th century gave way to the 20th, something new was happening. The city was booming. Land was getting scarce, and the only way to build was up. This shift was made possible by two key inventions: the steel frame and the safety elevator. Suddenly, the sky was literally the limit. The age of the skyscraper had begun. Early pioneers like the Flatiron Building, completed in 1902, captured the public's imagination. Its unique triangular shape was a marvel of engineering, and people would gather just to watch it, half expecting it to be blown over by the wind. It stood as a bold declaration of a new architectural era. The focus was shifting from residential comfort to commercial power. These new buildings were monuments to industry and finance, each one trying to outdo the last. The race to the sky was on, and it would dramatically and permanently transform the silhouette of Manhattan. The age of the concrete giants had arrived. The 1920s and 30s brought the glamour and ambition of the Art Deco period. This was New York in its high society, Jazz Age glory, and the architecture reflected it. Think of the Chrysler Building, completed in 1930. Its shimmering spire, adorned with eagle-like gargoyles, is a masterpiece of decorative art. It was a vanity project for Walter Chrysler, a monument to the automobile age. And for a brief, glorious 11 months, it was the tallest building in the world. But its reign was short-lived. Just down the street, an even bigger titan was rising. The Empire State Building finished in a mind-boggling 1 year and 45 days. It became the undisputed king of the skyline and a global symbol of American ingenuity. These Art Deco towers weren't just tall, they were theatrical. They used geometric patterns, bold lines, and luxurious materials to create a sense of optimism and progress, even during the dark days of the Great Depression. They were designed to inspire awe, to make you feel like you were in the center of the universe, and they succeeded. After World War II, the mood changed again. The ornate decoration of Art Deco gave way to the clean lines and functionalism of the international style. Architects like Ludwig Mies van der Rohe championed a philosophy of less is more. The Seagram Building, completed in 1958, is the perfect example. It's a sheer bronze and glass box that set a new standard for corporate headquarters. Its elegance comes from its simplicity, its perfect proportions, and the quality of its materials. This style was all about honesty in construction, showing the steel frame using glass to blur the lines between inside and out. It was a critics at the time were divided. Some saw these glass towers as cold and anonymous, a soulless departure from the city's historic character. Others hailed them as the future, sleek, efficient, and modern. Love it or hate it, the international style dominated corporate architecture for decades, creating the glass canyons of Midtown and the financial district that we know so well today. It was a reflection of a post-war world focused on global business, efficiency, and The late 20th and early 21st centuries saw yet another transformation. Driven by digital technology and a desire to create buildings that were not just functional, but sculptural, the age of the starchitect had arrived, and with it, a new wave of buildings that defied traditional shapes. Look at Frank Gehry's 8 Spruce Street, with its rippling stainless steel facade that looks like a frozen waterfall. Or the twisting form of the Via 57 West building, a courtscraper that blends the density of a skyscraper with the communal green space of a European courtyard. Computer-aided design allowed architects to dream up complex organic forms that would have been impossible to build just a few decades earlier. At the same time, there's been a growing focus on sustainability. The Bank of America Tower at One Bryant Park, for example, is one of the greenest skyscrapers in the world, with features like rainwater harvesting and an on-site power generation plant. This new generation of buildings is not just about height or style. It's about pushing the boundaries of engineering, creating unique living experiences, and responding to the urgent challenges of climate change. And then we have the Soupatous along a stretch of 57th Street, now nicknamed Billionaire's Row. A new type of skyscraper has emerged. These are incredibly slender, incredibly tall residential towers, like 432 Park Avenue and the Central Park Tower. They soar to heights previously reserved for office buildings, offering their ultra-wealthy residents unparalleled views of the city. Their existence is a feat of modern engineering, using advanced damping systems to counteract wind sway and incredibly strong concrete to support their slender frames. But they're also controversial. Critics argue they cast long shadows over Central Park, privatize the skyline, and stand as stark symbols of the city's growing inequality. Supporters, however, see them as the logical next step in a city that is constantly building upwards, a testament to New York's enduring status as a global capital of wealth and ambition. These glass needles are the latest, most dramatic chapter in the city's architectural story, raising complex questions about who the city is for and what its future will look like. From the cozy brownstone to the glittering Supertil, the architecture of New York City is a living history book. Each building tells a story of the people who built it, the technology that... The skyline is not a static postcard. It's a dynamic, ever-changing organism. It's a reflection of the city itself, always ambitious, constantly reinventing, and forever reaching for the sky. The next time you walk the streets of New York, take a moment to look up. You're not just looking at buildings. You're looking at the physical embodiment of over 200 years of history, struggle, and incredible human achievement. Just 11 months later, the Empire State Building soared past it, reaching an astonishing 102 stories. Completed in just over a year during the Great Depression, it became a powerful symbol of American resilience and engineering prowess. For decades, it was the undisputed king of the skyline, a beacon for dreamers around the world. These Art Deco giants weren't just office buildings, they were declarations, competing to be the most beautiful, the most grand, the most New York. The mid-20th century saw a shift in style. The sleek, minimalist lines of the international style took over. Form followed function. Look at the Seagram building on Park Avenue. Its bronze and glass facade is elegant, understated, and influential. This modernist wave valued efficiency and clean geometry, creating a new, more corporate aesthetic. This was the era of the glass box, which populated Midtown and Lower Manhattan, reflecting the city's status as a global financial hub. But New York's story is also one of profound loss and rebirth. The original World Trade Center's Twin Towers, completed in the 1970s, dominated the Lower Manhattan skyline. Their sheer scale was breathtaking, a symbol of global commerce. Their destruction on September 11, 2001, left a wound not just on the city, but on the world. The empty space in the sky was a haunting reminder of what was lost. Yet, in true New York fashion, the city rebuilt. The new World Trade Center complex rose from the ashes, not as a replacement, but as a testament to resilience. The centerpiece, One World Trade Center, known as the Freedom Tower, stands at a symbolic 1,776 feet. Its sleek, tapering form is a message of hope and defiance. It's surrounded by a beautiful memorial and museum, creating a space for reflection and remembrance right in the heart of the bustling financial district. Today, the architectural evolution continues at a dizzying pace. Super slender pencil towers are rising along Billionaire's Row south of Central Park, pushing the limits of engineering to offer unparalleled views for a select few. Buildings like 432 Park Avenue and Central Park Tower are so thin they seem to defy gravity. They represent a new chapter in the city's story, one of global wealth and engineering audacity. Simultaneously, there's a huge focus on sustainability and adaptive reuse. Old industrial buildings in areas like Dumbo and the Meatpacking District are being transformed into trendy lofts, offices, and retail spaces. The High Line, an abandoned elevated railway turned into a stunning public park, is a world-renowned example of creative urban renewal. It shows a city that is not just building new, but also cleverly reimagining its past, from the first brick townhouses to the latest super-tall skyscrapers. Every building in New York tells a piece of its story. It's a narrative of technological leaps, from the elevator to modern composite materials. It's a reflection of artistic movements, from Beaux-Arts to Art Deco to postmodernism. And most of all, it's a saga of a city that is constantly changing, constantly reaching higher, and constantly reinventing itself. The next time you're walking through the concrete jungle, take a moment to look up. You're not just seeing buildings, you're seeing ambition etched against the sky. You're seeing history stacked floor by floor. It's a story, a massive, sprawling epic of ambition, innovation, and pure, unadulterated grit. From humble colonial beginnings to the sky-piercing marvels of today, every building tells a chapter of how this city became the capital of the world. In the 17th century, when New York was still New Amsterdam, the architecture was a reflection of its Dutch roots. Think narrow, gabled brick houses crowded along cobblestone streets, much like you'd find in Amsterdam itself. The city's footprint was tiny, confined to the southern tip of Manhattan. As British influence grew, so did the architectural style. Shifting towards the Georgian aesthetic, more symmetrical, orderly buildings made of brick and stone. These early structures were practical, built for trade and dwelling, not for touching the sky. The skyline was dominated by church steeples, the tallest points of reference in a low-rise world. It was a city built on a human scale, a far cry from the vertical metropolis we know today. The 19th century was the game changer. Waves of immigration and the Industrial Revolution turned New York into a bustling, chaotic hub of commerce. The city was bursting at the seams, and the only way to go was up. Two key innovations made this possible: the invention of the safety elevator by Elisha Otis and the development of steel frame construction. Suddenly, buildings could safely soar higher than ever before. The era of the skyscraper was born. Early examples like the Tower Building and the Flatiron Building, with its iconic triangular shape, were marvels of their time. They were statements of wealth and power, clad in ornate, decorative styles like Beaux-Arts, mimicking classical European palaces but stretching them vertically. This was the Gilded Age, and the city's architecture proudly showed off its newfound riches, creating a skyline that was both impressive and elegantly detailed. Then came the Roaring Twenties, a decade of unprecedented optimism and ambition. This was the golden age of Art Deco, and New York was its grandest stage. A friendly but fierce competition known as the Race to the Sky erupted among developers. The goal, to build the world's tallest building, first came the Bank of Manhattan Trust Building at 40 Wall Street, but its reign was short-lived. Just a month later, the Chrysler Building, a glittering masterpiece of Art Deco design, secretly added its spire to claim the title. Its eagle gargoyles and sunburst crown still captured the imagination, but even the Chrysler's glory was fleeting. Less than a year later, in 1931, the Empire State Building rose majestically, becoming the undisputed king of the skyline and a global symbol of American ingenuity. It held the title of world's tallest for nearly 40 years, an icon of resilience built during the depths of the Great Depression. The post-World War II era brought a dramatic shift in architectural philosophy. The ornate decoration of the past gave way to the sleek, minimalist aesthetic of the international style. Think clean lines, glass curtain walls, and a less is more approach. Architects like Ludwig Mies van der Rohe championed this new form, and buildings like the Seagram Building and the Lever House became the new template for corporate modernism. The skyline transformed into a grid of reflective glass and steel boxes. While efficient and modern, this style was criticized by some for being cold and anonymous. Stripping the city of the character that defined its earlier skyscrapers, this was an age of corporate uniformity, and the skyline reflected that, presenting a powerful, unified, but less decorative face to the world. But New York's story is one of constant change, and tragically, of resilience. The September 11th attacks left a gaping wound not just in the heart of the city, but in its iconic skyline. The destruction of the World Trade Center's Twin Towers was a profound loss. Yet, in the face of this tragedy, New York did what it always does. It rebuilt. The new World Trade Center complex rose from the ashes, not as a replacement, but as a symbol of remembrance and defiance. The centerpiece, One World Trade Center, soars to a symbolic height of 1,776 feet, its sleek, tapering form a beacon of hope. The site also includes the poignant 9/11's Memorial and Museum, ensuring that the past is never forgotten. This act of rebuilding was a powerful statement about the city's unbreakable spirit. Today, the 21st century skyline is more diverse than ever. We're seeing a new generation of supertalls, incredibly slender residential towers piercing the clouds, especially along Billionaire's Row south of Central Park. Buildings like 432 Park Avenue and Central Park Tower have redrawn the silhouette of Midtown, offering unparalleled views for a select few. These pencil-thin skyscrapers are engineering marvels, pushing the limits of what's possible. At the same time, there's a renewed focus on sustainability and innovative design. We see buildings with green roofs, unique, twisting shapes, and a conscious effort to integrate public space, like the High Line, a park built on an old elevated railway. The skyline is no longer just about height. It's about technology, sustainability, and creating unique living experiences. So, what does the future hold for New York's skyline? If history is any guide, it will continue to evolve to reach higher and to surprise us. We can expect to see more sustainable, smart buildings that integrate technology to reduce their environmental impact. Architects will likely continue to experiment with new materials and radical forms, moving beyond the simple glass box. And as the city grapples with challenges like climate change and housing, its architecture will have to adapt, perhaps with more resilient, adaptable structures. The one thing that's certain is that the skyline will never be static. It will always be a living, breathing reflection of the city itself, testament to human ambition, creativity, and the relentless forward march of New York City. From the first Dutch gables to the supertalls of tomorrow, the story of New York's skyline is the story of innovation itself. It's a vertical timeline where you can trace the city's economic booms, its artistic movements, and its moments of profound sorrow and incredible strength. Every rivet and window pane is part of a larger narrative. The next time you're in New York, take a moment to look up. You're not just seeing buildings, you're seeing history, you're seeing dreams, and you're re-seeing the indomitable spirit of a city that never stops building its way into the future. Thanks for joining us on this architectural journey. What do you think the next chapter of its architectural story will be? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this journey through time, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into the world around us. See you next time.